Welcome to the 2020 SOAR Summit and our breakout session here today on innovation in K12 education. This breakout session will explore how two school districts, Laurel and Floyd counties, are embracing innovation to bring exciting and relevant programming to our students. My name is Ryan Jones. I'm the Director of SOAR Innovation. I'll be moderating the session today. Really excited about this discussion and looking forward to learning from the panelists and seeing what is happening in K-12 education. At SOAR, we are always thinking about the future, what it could be, and how we'll get there through collaboration and connectivity. And there's no better way to think about our future in Appalachia than discussing our young talent and youth. Students are a critical component to driving change, innovation, and reimagining our future. And the role of young people in shaping the world's economy is clear, and that's through technology. Not only the role of our youth is clear, but also the importance of the educators that get them there. So given the increasingly young workforce, there's a growing need to explore alternatives to traditional job creation strategies. And I'm looking forward to hear some of the ways panelists are preparing our youth and providing pathways to highly skilled jobs and introducing them also to entrepreneurship that keeps our talent here and fosters a culture of innovation. I'm joined today, which I'm really excited about, Dr. James Davis, Principal of Laurel County Center for Innovation, and Mr. Danny Adkins, the Superintendent of Floyd County. So Dr. Davis and Mr. Adkins, thank you for being here. Welcome. Please tell us a little bit more about yourselves as we begin our conversation. And I'm just going to go ahead and start with you, Dr. Davis.
Thank you, Mr. Jones. I appreciate the opportunity to be with you and the attendees for the SOAR Summit. This is a important topic, obviously to me, but also to our region. And I just want to say that it is an opportune moment for career and technical education all across the region, the state, the Commonwealth of Kentucky, as well as our nation. Data shows clearly that we need a skilled and prepared workforce, and helping our students become college and career ready is essential to transforming the region, to creating opportunities close to home, and creating opportunities so that our students can stay home for education and training or return home for career opportunities. So I'm just pleased to be a part of the panel today, and hopefully I can share some information that's helpful to the folks that are attending today.
Really appreciate it. Danny?
Mr. Jones, thank you for having me. I'm very excited and honored really to get to speak to this group here at SOAR. We've had a little bit of history. This is my third year here in Floyd County, and we've had a little bit of history with SOAR. We actually had our STEM bus as one of the featured presentations on the floor last year at the arena. So it was very exciting for us, but completely fell in love with the initiative of SOAR, the fact that there is a future, and it starts here as Mr. Davis said, or Dr. Davis said, with our K-12 education and us providing opportunities. When I came on board here in Floyd County, they had been a test-driven school system, data-driven. We still use data, but we know that there are groups of students out there that have attended college and have huge amounts of college debt and can't find employment. So that when I came into Floyd County, I wanted to change things up a little bit. Mm-hmm. I wanted to start providing these opportunities for students to become work ready in high school or directly right out of high school. So we've started reaching out, building some relationships, and again, that's where it started here in Floyd County for us. But thank you again for having us.
Yeah, and the STEM bus is awesome. I really enjoyed being able to see that last year at the summit, and then around the county as well.
The kids love it. Yeah, they love it. They can't wait for the STEM bus to come.
Yeah. So I'm going to propose the first question. I know the state's Office of Education and Technology has been critical to the success of students through access to technology, and has been way before COVID, but it has especially been exciting to see the technology leveraged by students and staff over the past few months. So talk about some ways that you all have been leveraging technology in your school systems and the importance of a strong broadband connection to continue to deliver effective programming. We've already heard a lot about broadband connectivity on the stage today, so just talk a little bit about that and the importance in the school systems.
So, Ryan, you know that 100% of our schools here in the state of Kentucky have a fast high-speed, high-quality fiber internet connection. Now, what we've been able to do with that is obviously since March, we've used it consistently, but since March 16th, it's really up the ante as to what we've had to do as far as delivering instruction. Now, here in Floyd County, we're one-to-one devices with our devices. So every student from K through 12 have a device. We have 5,600 students, guys. So you can imagine what a financial undertaking that's been for our district. Now, we did have the CARES money to help with that, and we had already been one-to-one with the devices from grade 5 through 12. So with this great internet connectivity here that we have, and getting better, I should say, getting better, we've been able to deliver some high quality instruction right into the homes of our schools, or our students, I'm sorry. Now, also, the governor had made available some monies for us to help with high-speed internet or MiFi devices in homes. I think as of yesterday, the numbers I got, we have provided 300 homes with Wi-Fi or the MiFi devices.
Okay.
So we have really been able to put that to work for us.
That's amazing.
Yes. One of the things when we run into students not having or lacking Wi-Fi at home, we were loading lessons and classes onto zip drives and having them delivered with meals to the students that needed them. They would download to their device, complete the work, put them back on the zip drive and send them back. We've almost eliminated zip drives now. I think we have 24 homes that still have to use zip drives.
Wow. I can't imagine the process that you've had to go through with doing that. Thank goodness for the broadband connectivity. That's for sure.
Absolutely.
Dr. Davis?
Yes, with regard to internet connectivity, it's vital. We are a wired world, and we've become dependent upon that over the last few months, delivering education. So typically what we do here at the secondary level in Laurel County is we provide live streaming through a Google platform on Monday, Wednesdays, and Fridays. Students can log in and see their instructor live through a virtual format while they're teaching students in person. And then on those off days, it is scheduled for broadband access and usability. We have recorded lessons, so students can access those on the Google Drive. So we're providing students with live streaming as well as recorded instructional programming so that we can deliver that content for every student in the district. So we're very pleased to be able to utilize that high-speed connectivity in delivering some of the content. Is very important. That's great.
That's great.
So some of the things that we see too, Dr. Davis, much as you, is we do use the Google platform. We'll run into homes that have multiple students that are trying to do the same, their classes, and that may slow us down a little bit. But, I guess the key word in all this has been flexibility. And we know that with technology, you're going to have a few glitches here and there.
Sure.
And for the most part, it's been very smooth, and we've been able to handle it very well. But our students are way more comfortable with it than some of our staff are. So that's the world we live in now. Our children and our young folks pick this up and run with it, whereas we're still afraid we'll break it or we're going to mess it up. Yeah. So that's the world we live in, and it's just been a blessing to have this connectivity for our school system and our children.
The students tend to be very intuitive with the technology. They grew up with the leapfrog pad in their hands, playing games. So they're used to technology. They enjoy it a lot. It is a means by which they access information on a daily basis, whether it be in the classroom or in their personal lives. So we're very proud of our faculty who have been able to pick up a new set of skills that they weren't necessarily formally trained on, and to be able to deliver a quality product to our students through the platforms of distance education. So our faculty, as you can imagine, all across the country, not just the region or the state, but faculty across the country who are delivering distance education are really delivering on a set of skills that they've been sharpening by the day. They're working through the challenges and the pitfalls and the levels of proficiency they may or may not have had to deliver a quality product to students. So hats off to all the faculty and for all the hard work they're doing in the classroom, delivering that through a platform they're not familiar with. And many of them have never had an online class themselves. So to deliver that in a quality format and a quality way to encourage learning and facilitate the growth and development of students and their knowledge base, hats off to the teachers. Hats off.
Dr. Davis, you're exactly correct. they've really brought it. They brought the smoke, and they've done what they needed to do to help our students. But again, another group we need to recognize are our parents. Our parents, they're many of them are our age, and they've struggled a little bit with this as well. But they've really stepped up too. So it has been a joint and team effort to make this thing work, and I think we're getting better with it every day.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah, I think beyond COVID, I think it's only going to make our education team stronger by having these platforms that are being put into place now. It's just going to make us better for the future. But yet, talk a little bit about, I know you all leverage some of the dual credit programs at your schools in partnering with some of the technical schools and universities. So talk a little bit about the importance of those dual credit programs for the students.
Dr. Davis, go ahead. I'll let you get started.
Thank you, Mr. Adkins. We are a dual credit oriented school. It is part of our mission. It's part of our purpose. It's part of our design to provide opportunities for students to access dual college credit courses, whether they be academic courses or technical courses. So we want to leverage those scholarship dollars, the Kentucky Dual Credit Scholarship Fund Source or the Work Ready Kentucky Scholarship Fund Source, so that our students will have an increased opportunity to engage in high-level courses, college credit courses, and specifically low-income, low SES, or underrepresented students who may not always understand they have these access and opportunities. So for us, it's a big initiative. We want to make sure that our students have access to those courses and opportunity through the scholarship to afford them. So we are really big into dual credit. I'm very excited to announce also something that's kind of unique to our school is almost every faculty member in my school is college credentialed. That's kind of rare and not heard of much in high schools because, again, dual credit is pretty new phenomenon over the last few years, might be the last decade or so. But we're very privileged to have a faculty who picked up those extra courses, who put those college credentialing courses in their rank ones or in their master's degrees. So we have faculty who can deliver them in-house. We have partnerships with the KCTCS institutions like Southeast, Hazard, Somerset, that we can offer technical coursework. We have partnerships with Union College, Eastern Kentucky University, University of the Cumberlands, all of our partners in the area. So we're very proud of our partnerships with post-secondary institutions, and dual credit is one avenue by which we can increase access and opportunity.
We're fairly new into getting involved with that, especially with our School of Innovation. Right now, we have an early college program that is through Big Sandy Community and Technical College. We also have dual credit opportunities with them. We've reached out to working with the University of Cumberlands and Hazard Community and Technical College as well. What we're looking for is we're looking to spark that interest as a freshman or a sophomore or a junior in high school and be able to translate that over into a career, not just a job, but a career, something that students really enjoy and something that, again, they'll love their entire life. So that's what we're trying to do, especially, and I'm sure that's what's going on with you too, Dr. Davis. As you see the dual credit courses, it really gives a student an insight into what's going on with those critical situations where they're making decisions about their future.
Yes. What we have specifically done with each of our programs of study, we have aligned with a particular post-secondary institution. Mm-hmm. So when we talked about our nursing program, we approached Union College, and we talked with Union College officials, had them come up and review our program, review our faculty credentials, look at the technology that we utilized, look at our curriculum plannings and the course outlines, and looking at the content we delivered. And what we asked was for Union College to provide a preferred, actually it's a guaranteed admissions matriculation agreement for our students in our nursing pathway. So students who go through our nursing program, make a B or better in all of our technical courses, who make the admissions guidelines and criteria for the School of Nursing, the Edna Jenkins School of Nursing at Union College, they are guaranteed a seat in that program. Now, what that means is they can go into a BSN level program, a Bachelor of Science in Nursing program, get in and get out in 4 years, minimize the time in college, minimize student loan debt, because they are, again, if they worked hard, played by the rules, made their grades, they are guaranteed a seat sitting there waiting on them. So some schools, and again, I won't name them, but some schools have such limited enrollment potential They only take 25 in a cohort, maybe take 50 in a cohort. And there are really good quality students who do not get in those programs. And I harken back to my experience because I've worked for almost every one of these colleges and universities. And they're limited. So you have a 3.5, a 3.6, a 3.7 student who may not get in. Now that's shocking that quality of a student may not get into a program, but it's because of limited capacity. So what we sought to do with our niche partnership with Union College is students who work through the process, make their grades, make admissions guidelines and criteria, are guaranteed a seat in the BSN RN, which is the gold standard in nursing today, the BSN degree credential. So what we've done with each of our programs is create a niche partnership with a post-secondary partner who has that program. So for instance, when we do a college recruiting visit and we go out and look at the programs, that's specifically what we're there for. We don't just go and have lunch in the cafeteria, walk around, take a few pictures. We go and look at the computer science program. We go look at the biomedical science program. We go and look at the occupational therapy program at those particular institutions. So we use our field trips and our recruiting opportunities specifically for those niche partnerships that we have. So we're very pleased with the types of partnerships that we have.
And that's key about the partnership. You have to ensure that this is a good program for your students that will be, that, you know, it's a quality program, but it's something that will be available, like as Dr. Davis said, that we can get our students into these programs, because that, again, we're sparking an interest, hoping to push them in just a lengthier, I won't say lengthier, but a high level opportunities with the colleges and institutions.
Yes, and if we can leverage those dual credit courses while they're in the secondary level and get them a head start of 9 or 12 or 15 credits, maybe a couple of AP courses thrown in the mix, you know, before long, you know, they're 12, 15, 18 credits ahead of the game, nearly a semester ready to go. And in some circumstances, we've had students with 30 plus credits. So, you know, that saves a lot of time. Not only do we think about saving of the tuition dollars and the time to completion, so they can be retained and complete the program, but you're talking about a year of time, which is priceless, which is really priceless. So, you know, one agreement we have is with Southeast Kentucky Community Technical College with our industrial maintenance program. And with that program, again, they reviewed our program, checked out our faculty, looked at what we do, reviewed our technology, et cetera, et cetera. And we have a matriculation agreement with Southeast Kentucky through our industrial maintenance program that we award 22 credits for the students who matriculate to Southeast Kentucky successfully. And also we have dual credit as well through Southeast Kentucky, Math 110 and Blueprint Reading. So if the students take full advantage of the full 3-year program we offer, pass all their classes, take the 2 dual credit courses, they can leave us with 28 credits toward their 60 credit associate in applied science. So again, we look at those niche partnerships with each of our post-secondary partners, and how do we move the student forward? How do we provide opportunities to save time, save money, but more importantly, gain confidence that they can be successful and they can compete with anybody.
That's awesome. Thank you. So talk a little bit about, you know, we've been talking about some of those strategic partnerships and career pathways. So talk about what you all are doing as far as like work-based learning kind of goes.
Well, we have actually had this partnership with Mountain Enterprise, and Miss Angelina Reynolds is the one that brought that on board with us. And we've been the benefactor of her foresight, I would say, on that. What we've managed to do is we purchased 2 simulators, heavy equipment simulators. We have a backhoe and an excavator, and also Mountain Enterprises has purchased one. So we kind of work in connections with that. And like I said, it's been a blessing. I think we have 15 students in that program right now. They'll work at our School of Innovation, and they'll go to the Mountain Enterprise home office just here in the Floyd County, Johnson County line, where they'll work on their simulator as well. But what they get the opportunity to do is to climb on that piece of equipment in the yard there at Mountain Enterprise, which is, we all know that you can't, you'll never surpass hands-on experiences. So they're getting that opportunity to climb on a live piece of equipment with an instructor and learn about how that equipment and all the devices and all the controls work, and tilt buckets and lift buckets. So just a super excited program here in Floyd County. The students are lined up to get into that one. But we want to thank her for that opportunity. I'm glad to see that she's on here. But Mountain Enterprise has gone above and beyond with us to help us with that Work Ready program.
Yeah, kudos to you, Mr. Adkins. You know, work-based learning is the formal terminology, but we have students in our cooperative placement program, what everybody calls co-op, and we're so excited about that applied learning, taking the theory, taking what you're practicing in the lab, going out and working with people, showing up for work on time, that work ethic, that you know, again, they're getting compensated. They're employees. They're getting paid. So these are compensated positions where they are learning to go to work on time, respond to requests, do their job accordingly, build those skill sets, those communication skills, that leadership development, which is so vital to their future success.
The soft skills that we have to have, the students have to have.
Absolutely. One beautiful example that I like to talk about is our aerospace program in our engineering pathway. Is we have students in our third year aerospace. We kind of focus on aerospace. It's a huge industry in Kentucky, $12 billion industry in Kentucky. The largest by dollar value export in Kentucky, bigger than Burley, bourbon or tobacco or basketball even, right? It's huge. And we have students who do the co-op with our local airport. So they're working out there with the field technicians. They're working with the pilots. They're fueling planes. They're learning the terminology of aviation and aerospace. So we're very excited about those kinds of opportunities.
Absolutely. And, you know, kids are excited about that. That's the thing. The excitement on a kid's face, that's the excitement that pushes them to success.
Yes, yes.
And what are you all doing in your schools as far as hardware and software development is concerned?
In our classrooms, we have a one-to-one computer situation. So every classroom, whether it be math, English, or technical, and that's something I haven't spoken about much yet, is we have integrated academic and technical education. It's becoming more popular and more common. It's still rather rare. But what we have done, we have English and math faculty here who work in concert, in alignment with our technical faculty to create opportunities to contextualize the learning. For example, if you're in math class, you can talk about geometry, and you're an engineering student, you can talk about architectural design and how geometric configurations might play. If you're in health sciences and you're in math class, you may talk about dosage calculations and metrics. You know, if you're in English class, you may talk about resume writing and interviewing skills, those kinds of things. So what we've been able to do through the integration of academic and technical education here at the CFI is provide students that well-rounded experience they might not otherwise get in a regular high school setting or a regular technical school setting. And there's nothing wrong with regular. I don't mean that in a negative. But what we've tried to do is juxtapose and leverage both of those skill sets so that our students can see what is important in math. Math does matter. And see why communication, verbal and written, matters. So we're very excited about how we've been able to do that. But technology is a big part of what we do. We do have cutting edge technology in all of our program areas. We use, again, some of the same exact technologies they use at the post-secondary level. So some of the experiences that I had bringing into this position as the founding principal of the CFI is I knew what these schools were using in their post-secondary laboratories. So I knew the faculty, I knew the administration of these folks in these schools. So I'd go and see what they were doing and make sure that we were utilizing some of that same technologies. So again, we can interface with those and make a more seamless pathway forward for those students.
Some of the things that we've looked at, we visited Dr. Davis and stole some ideas from him. It's always easier to steal a guy that's got a really good program up and running to some of his ideas than it is to try to develop on your own. So some of the things that we're doing right now, we have a half-day School of Innovation, and they'll receive their other credits at their high school. But when we initially started this, all 4 pathways that we have right now, we have a healthcare pathway, we have a pre-engineering pathway, computational thinking pathway, and then our heavy equipment pathway. They start out getting a lot of the same material, same mathematics, 3D printing availability. This is a thinking man that was 3D printed by one of our students, actually from Duff Allen Central Elementary over here, Dace Elementary. So they're in the process of AutoCAD, doing that type of work and drawings and just a lot of the fun hands-on things that kids really enjoy doing. And that's across all 4 pathways right now.
Yes.
Because we want them to share, and we want to open that door that they can see that this is a possibility for me. I may not be happy over here, but I really love this. So again, this is our first year doing it. We actually have traveled to Pittsburgh up there. There's I can't recall the name of the school district we visit up there and work with and partner with, but they're a highly integrated STEM school, and we've stole a lot of their ideas, and we've incorporated that. We've actually incorporated that into our STEM bus and our regular ed classrooms in general. But just to be able to share what's going on in all 4 of our pathways right now at our School of Innovation, I think sparks interest among our 95 students that are there right now as to maybe I didn't want to be this, but I do want to be that.
Yes.
So it gives them that opportunity.
Yes.
That's awesome. And then I saw that Tasha Sands was commenting, Good Schools for Entrepreneurs, just had me thinking, at what point do the students sort of get exposed to entrepreneurship and kind of training them on that creative problem solving could be turned into a business, and you can create your own job, your own future.
Yeah, and I noticed we had a student mention there, speaking about technology, she was recognized actually during the height of the pandemic when we were first called out. And one of the big things we'd like to do in Floyd County, we do selfies with our students. I do a selfie, but it's never me. It's just the top of my head, but it's a student. So this year we had to do a socially distant selfie where I had her on the iPad behind me, and we took the selfie that way. I had to have my wife to help with that, but yes, our student, Miss Maddie Duff from Betsy Lane, was a winner and did really well with that. And again, we moved her forward in that. We wanted to recognize her. We've actually worked, if I'm not mistaken, there's a Robinson Scholars portion of entrepreneurial, actually I should say programs, and we had some students be very successful in those this summer.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
So we're very proud of that work that they're doing. And again, we've almost lost that entrepreneurial spirit here in Eastern Kentucky. You look back 35 years ago when these folks that had stepped out on a limb and started mining coal. That took a lot of foresight and a lot of, I guess you would say, intuition to do that on their own. Mm-hmm. And, it shaped Eastern Kentucky. We know that we are what we are because of the coal right now. I know we're in the shifting process, but again, the entrepreneurship of Eastern Kentuckians has almost been lost. So we've got to spark that back amongst our students, our young people, because we have everything to offer right here that anybody else has.
Mr. Adkins, you're spot on with entrepreneurship and creating opportunities. We have a media arts technology program, and media is often perceived as television, and that's in your big markets, your Lexingtons, your Cincinnatis, your Knoxvilles, your Louisvilles, whatever. But we also know that media technology provides students an opportunity to learn photographic skills, event planning skills, video production and advertising skills, and they can parlay that through an entrepreneurship spirit to create opportunities. And we have students in our media program that are currently doing those very things. We've created commercial grade, quality, compensated videos for the local health department, a leadership group here in the community, with the Unite program. So we've done some for-profit fundraisers that our students have done as part of their portfolio. So when they go out and they're trying to work with a realtor, and they're trying to, because now if you buy a house, you have to see the aerial view.
Mm-hmm.
The sidewalk view is not enough, right? We've got to have the aerial view from the drone, and we've got to see what the neighbor's yard looks like too in the backyard. So we have students who are doing those aerial drone footage content collections because we have a drone in our media program. So they're learning some of these cutting edge technologies, some of these cutting edge strategies, so that when they do leave our program, they can matriculate in a partnership we have with Somerset Community College in visual communications. And they can also utilize that while they're going to school to continue their education to freelance, photography, event planning, weddings, so on and so forth. So we're very on board with that entrepreneurship. And Mr. Adkins, you're spot on with that.
Awesome. So 2020 has been a year like no other, of course. So let's talk into the future. What does 2021 look like? 2022? What are some of your goals for the students in the upcoming years?
Well, the first thing, Mr. Jones, I'd like to say is that I think virtual education is here to stay. I think we have opened up that can of worms and it's with us, and we're just going to get better at it every day. I think there's a quote that says winning doesn't mean coming in first. Winning is doing better each day, and we're certainly winning in virtual education and instruction right now. So I feel like that's going to be here. We'll just have to work with that as it comes, and we'll just get better with it. Again, in Floyd County, we've got the devices. KDE, we thank for the again, the high-speed internet, every school, and that opportunity to provide the devices and the high-speed internet at homes that we could. So the future for us looks like to continue. What we have to do is we have to develop better Eastern Kentuckians. Now, that doesn't always mean college. That means getting out there and finding a job or a career that you love and being able to stay home and be successful with that. Because we know that when our students stay home, our tax bases increase, our infrastructure opportunities increase as we have more tax dollars available. But we have to build to make a better Eastern Kentucky. We have to build better Eastern Kentuckians, and that's our goal here in Floyd County.
I can agree with that.
Yes. Well, we talk about natural resources of timber and coal and gas and so on and so forth. But you know what our most important natural resource is? It's our people. It's our kids. You probably saw a commercial about that a few times on mountain television. A real funny, cute little commercial. But it's true. It's a fact. Our people is our number one asset. If we don't cultivate that talent, if we don't develop that potential, then we're doomed for mediocrity, persistent poverty, drug abuse, domestic violence, all the social ills that we talk about that we wish we could solve. Most of that can be solved with a quality education and a good paycheck. I'm not saying that's the cure-all. I'm just saying that if we cultivate and develop our people as best we possibly can and show them there are opportunities close to home, maybe 30-minute drive, maybe down the road a few minutes, but you do not have to leave the region. If we cultivate opportunities, as we cultivate our people and develop and grow our region, we're going to be the beneficiaries for a long time to come.
Absolutely. I mean, the students, they're already very comfortable with technology. What we need to do is make them aware of the opportunities to have a career in technology and technological advances. I mean, so many folks we see that had to move to working from home during this pandemic realize now that, hey, this is a viable option. This works. I can work from the beach if I want. I've got kids that are working on vacation doing the classwork right now because they have their devices with them. So this is a real opportunity. The pandemic, as tough as it's been a real opportunity to open up the eyes of what can be done virtually now, and tear down the brick and mortar walls of the business and those type of things. We can do this from our homes.
Yep.
Absolutely. It is 2020. With the good, the bad, and the ugly, it is 2020. And we need to leverage every partnership, every technology, every opportunity to move our people forward. Every single one of them we can.
Yes.
So I know that you all have these schools of innovations in your counties. How can other counties sort of deploy an innovation program into their own school systems? And what are some ways that you all can work together to help other counties create these types of programs?
There is some tremendous work happening. There are pockets of excellence all throughout the region. And I'm just going to mention a couple, drop a few names. I hate to do that because I'll leave somebody out and somebody starts on me. Then somebody will look at me and say something bad to me. But Rockcastle ATC has a great apprenticeship program in health sciences with their local hospital. Clay County ATC has a great welding apprenticeship program with Phillips Diversified there in their area. Wheatley County is making some big moves. Perry County is making some big moves. And I'll just say, back to the dual credit piece, Floyd County was a leader here. Floyd County has been transformational in moving the ball forward. So kudos to that district and the leadership team there. So there is some great work happening. It is expensive. It's a commitment. So you have to be able to secure those dollars, squirrel them away if you need to for a few years, find out some philanthropic opportunities as well. Some people are wanting to give away funds. They want to give money away. So there are different ways to leverage those dollars. Some are federal, some are state, some are local, some are philanthropic. But it's a commitment. It's a commitment.
It is. You have to be willing to move some of your resources across the district into these programs. We've been a benefactor of a new building that was built by the federal government due to some flooding issues in the city of Martin. So we've been able to use that for a school of innovation in the bottom floor, at least. We've been very fortunate with some dollars from Gear Up, which is a federal program that we've been able to stick into our STEM bus and even into our classrooms down here with with 3D printers and devices for everyone to work with. And just I would love for you to get to see the equipment they're using down here, things that I can't even imagine how I wouldn't know how to start with. I'll be honest with you, but the kids do, and they love to show you. So when you get that opportunity to come in, they love to show you how to sit. Now, I have been on the simulators, and that's a lot of fun. I will say that's a lot of fun, but you do have to make that commitment. You have to be willing to kind of move some resources around. And but you got to bear in mind, you're doing it for the right reasons for students. You're giving opportunities for students that otherwise would not have these opportunities. These are your hands-on learners. We've got an early college program. You have to have a baseline ACT to get in, that type of thing. This program, the School of Innovation, everybody that wants to get in, they apply, and we pull out 105 names. There's, it's open to anybody that thinks they may be interested in computational thinking. If they think they may be interested in pre-engineering, heavy equipment, those are the things that are really drawing. And we had about 130 folks apply this year.
Yes, absolutely.
So and it was our first year during a pandemic. So I can't imagine what it's going to look like next year.
That's fantastic, Mr. Adkins. That's just fantastic. I love those numbers. When we talk about students, sometimes we talk about numbers, and we don't want to relegate them to a number, but sometimes we have to use statistics. And I want to use some generalizations, so don't quote me on an exact number, but about 40% of our population of students are academically inclined. They will probably hit their benchmarks, and they'll do well academically. About 40% of our kids are technically inclined. They're kinesthetic learners. They can take it from here and put it here, make, create, and build. I can't do that. I'm envious of those folks. And then there's the 20% that can just about do it all, right? And I'm neither of those. But so we have to serve every student as best we can, given their natural inclinations and talents, and maximize those. So I applaud Mr. Adkins and others who are looking at CTE in a way that can serve more students and get them transition ready, and college and career ready. So we're very excited about what CTE is doing across the Commonwealth, what STEM education, how it's embedded into what we do in CTE education. And so we're very excited about what the leadership in our region is doing. Now, there's a lot of good stuff happening.
That's great. And if you want to ask any questions for the people that are joining this session, drop them in the chat function. We can go ahead and kind of open that up for questions. I know that was the last sort of topic on my end for the discussion, but we can open it up for any attendees. If you have a question for Dr. Davis or Mr. Adkins, we can have some time for questions. We'll close up the next 20 minutes. But until then, do you guys have anything else you'd like to add?
One thing I would like to say is I want to thank Dr. Davis for allowing us to come down and just kind of pilfer and plunder through his program, because again, my folks came back and they were on fire. They were ready to get up here and get started. And I feel like as long as we can go close to home here and see these great things going on, that it just gives us that much more incentive that we can do it. If Dr. Davis can do it, we can do it as well.
Sure.
Maybe not as good, but we can do it. And we've started, and we're hoping to follow in his footsteps. And again, thank you for allowing us to come down.
Thank you, Mr. Adkins. We all have a role to play in each of our communities. And, those pockets of excellence needs to become a program of excellence in every community. So yes, every district needs to have a signature program, a go-to program that is lauded, that is applauded, that is recognized and is doing great things, not to the chagrin of others, obviously, not to the neglect of others, but everybody needs a signature program. And we're very excited here at CFI that we've been able to communicate and to collaborate and to cooperate with others. I'm a big believer in the 3 C's of communication, collaboration, and cooperation. And those are the tools that we'll use to serve students best and to move them forward. So, we piggyback ideas from other folks. We appreciate those opportunities to learn from other folks, and we'll deploy those in our programs and our classes everywhere we can. So I think a shared spirit of mutual respect and collaboration and a cooperative spirit helps us all serve students better.
Yeah, it's so great to see you two working together on many different levels. We do have a question from Sherry Smith. You guys can sit on the chat function as well. But how important are outside partnerships to the CFIs?
Well, Ms. Cherie is one of our most important partners. They're all important, but she's critically important. She comes out several times a year, spends 2 or 3 days at a time working with our seniors, helping them to make sure their FAFSAs are filed, are accurate, they are ready to access those dollars so they can pursue post-secondary. So we're very appreciative of that partnership, where Ms. Cherie from the Commonwealth Education Opportunity Center comes in, works with their students on a one-to-one basis, works with their parents, helps them to understand what documents they need, what financial paperwork they need, social security numbers, marriage license, on a sundry of documents. It's a process, and she's patient, and she's caring, and she follows up with them, and she spends a lot of time with each student. So partnerships, they're important.
Partnerships for us are extremely important. And the reason being is we can take students into a classroom and we can sit and talk to them and put things in their hands. But until we put them in a real life situation out there on a job site or in an internship situation, that's where it really escalates. That's where students see that, hey, this is a part of life that I may enjoy. But again, this is why we do this.
Mm-hmm.
We've all heard that old saying, will I ever use algebra again? Well, this is where the algebra comes in. Yeah. As they move out into a job site, or they move into a hydrological situation where they may be testing waters, or where they just any of those things, they can get their hands dirty and see exactly why this is needed in the real world. This is why. So that's where partnerships come into play for us. They're critical, and we've got some really good partners. And again, I can't say enough about Mountain Enterprise. Just be willing to allow us to bring our students to their yard, to the equipment. That's second to none. And not just that, they've also offered, their take on it is, we're going to get the biggest and the best you got. We'll get them right out of high school. So we'll take them and make them what we want them to be. And that's a great plan to have, I think. And it's great for our students. And it's great for Mountain Enterprise.
Yes, absolutely. Work-based learning is critically important. That's a big initiative we have. Dual credit is a big initiative we have. And the third big prong to that three-pronged salad fork is industry certifications. Every program we have offers dual credit. Every program we have offers work-based learning opportunities. And every program we have offers an industry-recognized career certification. So we know that students are going to want to go to school or go to work, most always. Mm-hmm. But we also know that bad things happen to good people. And mom and pa gets sick. I can't go to school right now. I have to stop out for a minute. I've got to help pay my way through. Having industry-recognized credentials coming out of high school, and many college programs don't even offer, is really important for us as well. So we want to make sure they are credentialed, they are qualified through experience, and they are ready to go with knowledge. So those are big initiatives for us, is dual credit and career certifications, obviously, and work-based learning. Those are big deals for us.
Awesome. It looked like Angelina Reynolds posted a question. What role do you think the certification credential will play in the future success of students who select a work-ready pathway?
Well, yes, go ahead.
We go back to just being employable. If you have that credential, I mean, somebody's going to scoop you up. Somebody in the industry will scoop you up. If you have proven that you can receive or you can work, basically it's about being dedicated and driven enough to receive that credential. Now, once they receive that credential, that says a lot, not just about their skill level, but their ability, their, I guess, willingness to work hard and be determined to get something done. So again, to me, that credential gives them a better opportunity to be employable, because it displays some things that they've proven throughout their high school careers, that they're willing to work hard to get what they need to do, and they'll be a good employee for you.
That's right.
Simply because they are determined to be better.
That's right. I'm a psychologist by training, and I teach in the psychology department at Eastern Kentucky University. And having that credential is a psychological indicator to an employer that you will complete something, that you will finish what you started, that you had a goal and you earned that credential. And again, it makes you a more competitive, more attractive applicant. It gives you something to talk about in the interview, some of the skills that you are developing. So credentialing is important. We live in a credential society. So if we get students out of the secondary level into the world of work, or even to the post-secondary world of college, and they're trying to get in selective admissions or competitive admissions programs, and they have credentials to talk about, and they've been working part-time at the local, urgent care clinic, and they're trying to get in the PA program at the University of Cumberland, or they're trying to get in the OT program at the EKU, or pharmacy at UK. And they've been a pharmacy tech working at West Knox Pharmacy as a co-op through the CFI, and now they've continued that employment after graduation while they're going to school. Who are you likely to want to bring into your program at the University of Kentucky or at one of these other institutions? You probably want that person who's credentialed, who's working in the field, because they're going to be a leader for you.
Looks like we got another question from Owen Wright. What is the biggest challenge you see facing the students you work with?
The challenges that we see here in Floyd County are obviously poverty. We know that here in Eastern Kentucky. That's just a part of life. We all grew up that way. If you grew up in Eastern Kentucky, that's just the way you grew up. Poverty overcoming, and I'll be honest with you, it's that positive mental attitude that we have to really, really overcome with some of our students, or many of our students. We just have to make them understand, hey, you are going to be successful. We're not going to let you off the hook here. We're going to see that you're successful. And again, it's that emphasis on an education, because many of them don't get that at home. They don't get that emphasis at home that, hey, education is important, and here's why. So those are two of the biggest things, well, three of the biggest things: the poverty, overcoming that mental attitude that, hey, I'm from Eastern Kentucky, I can't be successful, and then the importance of education and why it's important and what it can do for you. So those are the things that I see that we face here in Floyd County.
Well, low SES is throughout the region, a lack of role models, negative self-image. You know, we bear a lot of burdens to achieve success, but it's possible. It's possible with persistence. It's possible with passion. It's possible with opportunity and access. So that's our mission. That's what we should be doing. And that's the only way we want to change things in a positive way, is provide those opportunities. So we all talk about low SES, and that's a challenge. That's tough. And we have the lack of role models. That's tough. I mean, if you've never seen someone get up and go to work, if you've never seen anybody pursue a credential and work hard to a goal, then it's hard for others to put that in you. But what we do in the school, we're the refuge. We're the island in the middle of chaos, where they can come and get a couple of hot meals, where they can get a compassionate ear, where they can get someone who cares about their future, maybe more than some of their own family does at times. So, you know, we do a lot. We have a lot of hats to wear, and we do them as best we can. Lots of asked of our education system, and certainly of our teachers. We do the best we can given our circumstance, but we've got to cultivate this talent, take them from where they're at, and move them to where we'd like them to be as best we possibly can every single day that we show up for work.
Looks like Terry Gray's got a question in here. Are there pathways that aren't part of the current KDE pathway offerings that your post-secondary partners should be working with you to help offer? Or what do you see being the high demand pathways, credentials of the future?
Sure. Fiber optics, high-speed internet capabilities to service and repair those lines, those transmission cables. Fiber optics is huge. As we get this Kentucky Wired project going throughout the Commonwealth, and that last mile of what they call dark fiber, you don't just install it and walk away. There's transmission lines, and there's servicing to be done. So there are some things we can do there. Pulaski County ATC a few years back did some with gas line technicians, with natural gas technicians. So there are some things that are out there that are innovative and that we're already doing. And there are some things that we need to talk to business industry, talk to chambers of commerce, go to those meetings as often as possible, have those conversations, and identify what your area needs most. And I think that's going to help us lead to what we would deploy and implement as programming.
Well, one of the things that, as we did some of our basic research, we found that network engineering was a strong field here in Eastern Kentucky, and I'm assuming it's due to the growth of the technical schools and the hospitals here in Eastern Kentucky as well. But we found that to be one of the fastest growing fields, and that's where we came up with our computational thinking pathway. We wanted students to be able to get into that, get their hands dirty with coding and building those networks and seeing how a network is built, how that works and how it's all linked together. So that's certainly one of the things that we focused on when building our School of Innovation right off the bat. And that was because it was one of the, I think maybe even EKCEP had identified network engineering as one of the fastest growing fields in Eastern Kentucky.
Technology is not going away.
Yeah.
It's embedded in everything we do. And there are high paying jobs, high demand opportunities, and we need to be doing those kinds of things that Mr. Adkins is talking about with computer science and programming, information technology. It's across all sectors.
And, you know, we've seen some, this is just a question I've had that popped in my mind after seeing some of the announcements, you know, of App Harvest and what they're doing in Moorhead and Berea and Richmond with ag tech. Is there any emphasis or is there anything planned in the future to incorporate more ag tech programming into what you guys are doing now?
The two high schools that feed into the CFI, which is South Laurel and North Laurel, they have well-established, long-standing agricultural programs. So I suspect they're doing some things in that realm. I'm not always privy to those kinds of conversations, as it's on a different campus, different program area, different administrative structures. But I suspect they're having some of those interesting conversations.
Yeah.
So it looks like don't have any other questions at the moment. Dottie Nolan did say that she was with EKCEP and she would be glad to assist with some soft skills trainings for your students, and she'd be more than willing to send you some information on that. So Dottie Nolan with EKCEP. Gentlemen, we have a question. Let's just open it up for kind of last comments, and then we'll sort of we'll close up and head back to the main stage.
I'll defer to Mr. Adkins.
Well, again, I think the future is bright. And I said I fell in love with the quote that SOAR started with. There is a future in Eastern Kentucky and in the Appalachian region. And again, to build a better Eastern Kentucky, we have to build better Eastern Kentuckians, and we start with our students, and we start by opening their eyes to what's available to them out here in the world, as far as employment, as far as just life in general. So we have to open their eyes as to what technology and these credentials, these certifications and credentials can do for them. And again, it's all about sparking that interest. And once we spark the interest, it'll run from there.
K12 education has a tremendous role to play. We receive students often with a blank slate. And what we make of that is their ambitions and their talents and their drive, their family support, and what we can do as educators. So I think it's three people involved here, not counting our partners, but it's the family, it's the student, and it's the we can make a difference, and we have to endeavor to do that every day. And I think if we see that as our mission every day, if that drives our work, if that pushes us forward, then I think we're doing the right kinds of things. And if you're doing the right kinds of things, you tend to get better results. So I'm just very pleased to have an opportunity to speak with you this evening. And Mr. Adkins, the work you're doing in Floyd County is transformational. When I was with the University of Kentucky, Floyd County is one of my counties, and I enjoyed coming to Prestonsburg regularly and often. And I went to South Floyd High School a lot, and Betsy Lane, and so on and so forth. But what you're doing in that area is transformational. So I just want to offer kudos to you and your leadership team for what you're doing on a daily basis. So thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Davis. And we are trying our best to, like I said, to follow in your footsteps if we can to move forward.
You're too kind. I'm not worthy. You're too kind.
Well, gentlemen, really appreciate it. That was an incredible discussion. Again, if you were attending this session, thank you for spending this time with us, Dr. Davis and Mr. Danny Adkins. As we've learned today, the future is very bright for Appalachia when it comes to our youth and young talent, and also our educators. And I'm certainly inspired by what I've heard today, and I hope that the people that are watching were as well. So enjoy the rest of your 2020 summit. We will head back to the main stage, and if you'd like to connect with Dr. Davis or Mr. Adkins, you can simply send them a message through Hopin. If they're going to be leaving Hopin throughout the day, just message me and I can make sure that I can connect you with them via email. So guys, really appreciate it. Great discussion. Have a great summit, and we'll see you.
Thank you for having us. Appreciate that.
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
Thank you all.